All right, Hefty here, 492W. We're going to do CPD number 8. It's actually a little different here, not with the textbook, but we're going to do a prep for Project 5, which is your business research and analysis report. All right, key points here with CPD number 8. It's a Project 5 training. So we're going to review the rubric. Basically what you're going to do is there's 15 different terms that are key to your business plan at the end of the course. So I want to make sure you define those, give references to those, and then we'll look at doing some assessment from benchmarking of different businesses. I want to include some Affordable Care Act questions there if you have the ability to email or actually contact anyone about these businesses. You'll do an analysis then about how you can apply it. And then the quiz, number 8, is a response quiz where you're just going to explain to me some of your preparation, and then you'll see we've got a business contract for the second half of the course. So on the same page with expectations and assessment. Some health law ideas with this Project 5. You want to think about what are quality health law and Affordable Care Act questions you could ask if you're able to interview, whether it's by phone or email, or if you have some type of family contact connection. Maybe you've done an internship and you've created a relationship. Great to ask them about their opinions and how they've used it, health law in their business design. Again, it's not about opinions, but it's more just about what they like, pros and cons of it, what's been their experience. Again, you want to compare and think about this to other countries' health plans, universal health care, for example. So Project 5 prep, again, it's a team business research and analysis report. The intro is worth 15 points there. And basically what you're going to do is research a minimum of 3 businesses. And you'll see where you've got to basically talk about, give an overview of each business. And we'll go into detail that with the rubric here. Then there's a review section, which is the core of the assignment, 45 points. Again, what you're going to do is there's 15 different terms. Some of them we've talked about, some of them we'll address here the second half of the course. But you want to go ahead and give your definition of them in your own words, and then cite a reference to support that definition. You need both to get 1 point for each of those. And then the third part of that is you'll give a detailed example of that term from your research or observation of any of the businesses. Key point here, if it's not observed with your research, then you just have to make an assumption and you want to state that at the beginning. I was not able to observe, but based on my research, I assume da-da-da-da-da. One thing here, for each of the terms, you just simply pick one of the businesses, or you can do several, from your research that gave you the best information or opportunity to observe that. It can be something positive or even something negative from your assessment of that observation and research. And then the last part is the application. What you're going to do is 15 points. Each of the 15 terms, after you've reviewed this, done some research now, provide an illustration of how you will accomplish each of those 15 parts in your business design. And as always, then there's mechanics, your headers and subheadings. Again, must include the textbook even if you don't cite it. But you need a minimum of 8 different references. Should be easy if you use different resources for your terms. Then we should be in good shape, plus the 3 businesses you've got. So the rubric itself, again, 80 total points. Upload to Canvas like we've always done by 8 a.m. Late submissions, again, 10% each day. It's 16% of your grade, so you can see it's starting to ratchet up a little bit. So here is the actual rubric, the intro. You can see there's 5 different points there that you need to describe in detail of each of the businesses. Again, a minimum of 3. And I prefer you do not use a Penn State University organization. Use some outside sources. Second part then, the review section, which is the 45 points. It's the core of it. There's the 15 terms on the left. You can see It's basically what our CPD topics are. We've covered some of them. Other ones we won't, or we haven't yet, but we will. Again, for 3 points for each of those terms. So let's take management and leadership style. You should easily have a definition in your own words for that already from previous assignments, projects. And then you have to cite a reference, a definition of that for each of those 2 points there. Then the third point is where you simply talk about, let's take management and leadership. Take one of the businesses and describe what you learned in your research about their management and leadership style. Just a quick overview of that. Okay, do that for each of the 15 points, 3 points per, 45 total. Then you get into the application, and this is the great part of this project is, again, you start to list each of the terms and then how you, concrete example, again, illustration using I statements or we statements, how you're going to accomplish each of them. Then last is your mechanics for your 5 points as we always done. 80 total points. The application here, it's real simple. This is real research. What we've been doing up to this point is just theory, a lot of reading, research information. But again, when you actually research real businesses and hopefully you get an opportunity to have some communications and interview style, whether it's just email even, or some connection you've got, you'll start to see what really works and then how you can actually, in reality, apply it to your business design. Again, when it comes to benchmarking, that's what you're doing, is there's 3 different types there. There's competitive benchmarking, where you're comparing your business to your peers or your competitors. Functional benchmarking, where you're comparing it to different industries, just like we did with the Economist article. We looked at leadership and education, but outside of the health industry. And then last is generic benchmarking, where you look behind just the data, but you focus more on the general process, the general things you can learn from the business. And this is where if you're just having the opportunity to look at websites and things, you're going to pick up different bits just in general what you could learn. Again, always look at health law, connect it to your business, both for your customers and your staff. And then again, this is reality versus theory. So this is how it's really going to work in the world. These are things you want to use in your business plan. So the response quiz that you've got to do after this, again, since we're not with the textbook, their focus here is get you prepared for project 5. And again, the reason for this, it's due in 3 weeks. There's a quick turnaround. So question 1, just what are the organizations or businesses that you think you're going to target for your research and analysis? Okay. Minimum of 3. I would recommend you pick 5 here, and then that way if you're having trouble with 1 or 2, you still got your 3 and not scrapping at the end. Question 2, 1 point, real simple, just tell me what is your method of research. Do you have a connection where you're actually going to do an interview, whether it's phone or email, or is it a website research, or is it from your internship, whatever that is. Question 3, then I want you to develop a plan, a timeline for those 3 weeks to get everything done. Just lay that out real quick. It can just be a timeline, how you're going to accomplish. And question 4 then, this is the contract piece. You state whether you agree to the terms of the contract. If not, why? But if you say yes, then that's considered your signature, agree to the contract. We'll go over that here real quickly. So here's your business contract. Again, it governs work and assessment of assigned projects and deadlines. Remember, the goal of the course is each of you to design a business of your choice in the health industry. And again, learn through the semester with all that information how to develop it, and then learn about the industry that you're interested in for going into in the future. Again, we want to do this honestly and fair, but we want to keep it realistic so that we can give that grade, a quality grade for you at the end. So assessment percentages and definitions. Again, these are 100% max, 90 is above average. If you're in that 80 range, you're doing average work, 70 below. 60 is a minimum standard, and then obviously below that, you're none because you're failing. Again, you're being evaluated based on your job performance. Again, so make sure you're consistent and your quality is of a high level. Big note here, I don't round anything up through the semester, but at the end of the course, at the very end, when you get your final grade, on Canvas, I round up the whole percentage, and I give you a break here all the way up. So the example is if it's 89.1, any decimal, I'm going to take that all the way up to the next whole number, which would be a 90. So you don't need to ask me, hey, is there any way I can improve my grade when you're close? I'm already giving you an opportunity to go ahead and advance your grade. Constitution, Article 1, it's the work policy. Again, high level, high quality, it's 400 level W course. Remember that we talked about definition here is not just writing intents, but quality research and research effort. Again, if somebody commits plagiarism, by the guidelines, I've got to report that. And again, that's why we do the turn it in, check with it. There's no way you can get through it, so just don't do it. If you cite everything, there's no plagiarism. Work ethic, Article 2. Again, none or minimum standard, then you're going to look at a C or below grade. And again, it's going to have an impact both with your GPA, but more importantly, if you get below a D or below, then it doesn't count towards your credits here. Again, if the contract is breached, then again, if it was a job, you'd be fired technically. Breach of the contract, again, that's none or a minimum standard. The steps here is if you find yourself at D or F grade, if you want to talk about it, you can, but then you've got to request a Zoom meeting with me with the instructor, and what we'll do is look at ways to resolve that, but again, articulate your positions, no arguing, and then we'll take that into account. If there's no resolution, then again, you would be fired if it was a job, and the same as getting a final grade, no higher than a D or an F.